Imagine this. Bel Air, California. The late 2000s. A mansion that feels more like a museum. A fleet of Ferraris idling in your driveway. And you, barely in your 30s, spending $1 million a month on art, watches, and rare artifacts. Your name is Rudy. And to the Los Angeles elite, you are Dr. Conti. You don't just walk into a room. You float. You are the person surrounded by real estate moguls and Hollywood legends. The one who orders the most expensive bottle on the menu, only to send it back because the cork feels a bit tired. Your life is a blur of private jets, $50,000 dinners, and a cellar that, supposedly, holds the oldest secrets of France. But there's a detail no one noticed back then. No one knew where your money actually came from. No one had ever met your family. And no one could explain how you, a young man, possessed bottles that technically shouldn't even exist in the world anymore. While you were toasting with 500-year-old crystal glasses, back in your kitchen, the smell of old oak was mixing with the scent of cheap glue. Tonight, we're uncorking the greatest fraud in the history of luxury. Welcome to the fall of the man who fooled the most expensive palates on the planet. You arrive in Los Angeles on a student visa. Dry heat, jet fuel, that constant background noise, that never really goes away. Everything feels bigger than it should. Louder, faster, more expensive. Your name is Jen Wang Huang. But that name just doesn't work here. Not in the rooms you want to be in. So you do what a lot of people do when they get to this country. You adjust, you simplify, you become someone else. Rudy? It's easier to say, easier to remember, easier to trust. And that matters more than people think. You're polite, quiet, always composed. And somehow, you always seem to have access to money, enough to belong, but not enough to be questioned. Because in Los Angeles, wealth doesn't always need proof. It just needs to feel right in the moment. You start with golf. It's predictable, structured, a place where deals happen without being called deals. But you're not watching the game. You're watching the people. Who talks the most? Who listens? Who pays? And who doesn't? You start noticing patterns. And eventually, something stands out. Wine. Not just the drink, but what it signals. Status, taste, access. At a certain level, people aren't buying flavor. They're buying confirmation. Confirmation that they belong in that room. And somewhere along the way, you understand something most people don't. The value isn't in the product. It's in what people believe about it. And once that belief is strong enough, no one dares to question it. Early 2000s. You're no longer invisible? Now you're in the rooms that matter. New York auctions, private dinners in Beverly Hills, rooms where everyone already assumes the person next to them is legitimate. And that assumption is a powerful weapon. You stay controlled, respectful, building a trust that is predictable. And this is where things get unusual. Because you don't buy like a collector anymore. You buy with intent, rare bottles, hard vintages, entire collections. You never hesitate. And people notice. One name keeps coming up in every conversation. Domaine de la Romane Conti, DRC, the kind of wine people talk about, even when they've never tasted it. You buy so much of it that they give you a nickname, Dr. Conti. And after that, something shifts. Not in you, but in how people see you. They stop asking questions because you already look like the answer. Because while everyone thinks you're collecting, you're studying every bottle, every aroma, every inconsistency. What age actually tastes like, what oxidation feels like, what time does to the structure. You notice differences most people miss, small ones, but consistent. And then You stop seeing wine as a product. You start seeing it as a system. And systems can be understood. And once they are understood, they can be repeated. Not perfectly, but close enough. This is where reality breaks. You partner with Acker Merrill and Conti, one of the most respected auction houses in the world. They release your collection, The Cellar, $24.7 million. The following year, another auction, 10 million more. And here is the uncomfortable truth. People aren't buying wine. They're buying the confidence around it, the presentation, the story, the assumption that someone else already verified it. It's the dirty secret of the luxury market. The higher the price, the fewer questions are asked. At that level, belonging matters more than the truth. And nobody wants to ruin that feeling. Because the truth was never in the auction room. It was here, in this kitchen. Cheap Napa bottles, young French wines, leftovers from other dinners. You mix, you taste, and you adjust. You wait. You try it again. And slowly, it starts to get closer. It shouldn't work, but it does. And once it works once, you don't stop. Because now you know something they don't. People don't just taste wine. They interpret it. Everything works for years. Until one detail stops working. New York. Among the bottles, Domaine Pinceau, vintages going back decades. There's just one problem. Those wines didn't exist at that time. And that kind of mistake doesn't go unnoticed. Laurent Pinceau is in the room, and he knows immediately, and not because something feels wrong, but because it is wrong. His family didn't produce that wine until 1982. In that moment, something breaks. It isn't loud, but it's the end. Bill Koch enters the scene, and when someone like that starts asking questions, the world moves differently. Investigators dig deep, and nothing adds up. The background, the money, the story, none of it holds, and once doubt enters the room, it spreads like a virus. March 8th, 2012, Arcadia, California. They enter your home, and they find it. Labels, corks, stamps, empty bottles. It wasn't chaos, it was organized, deliberate. This wasn't improvisation, it was a factory. You're sentenced to 10 years, ordered to pay $28 million. In court, fraud of $1.3 million is proven. But the real number is incalculable, because this wasn't just about money. It was about trust. And here is the part that no one wants to resolve. A lot of those bottles are still out there, in private collections, in controlled vaults, on tables where no one asks too many questions. Because asking the wrong question comes with a cost too high to pay. Tonight, someone opens one. They talk about history, about rarity, about how special it is, and they have no reason to doubt. Because at that level, belief is enough. Sometimes, I no longer see French vineyards, but lines of code running down an empty glass. They call me the greatest luxury fraudster, stripped of my wealth, my title of Dr. Conti, and sentenced to 10 years. But the terrifying truth for them is that I won. I made the world's most exclusive club bow to my $10 blends. I feel no guilt. I didn't steal. I merely sold those billionaires the illusion of exclusivity they begged for. The true prison isn't my cell, but their underground cellars. Thousands of my bottles, my little computer viruses, wait in the dark. Their owners are too terrified to uncork them, preferring to worship a false glass god rather than taste the vinegar of their own ego. So, at your next lavish dinner, when an impossibly rare bottle is brought out and everyone poetically praises its history, remember me. My code is still running in their system. I am the glitch they will never be able to patch. Cheers.